Hello everyone, it's Mealie and welcome to a one-off exhibit build. And it's been a while since I've done one of these, but the Aquatic pack is out. I wanted to build an exhibit for one of the aquatic animals. I decided seals are probably the best to mess around with some of the new mechanics. Yeah, and as if you know my main series, Clayton Zoo, you know it's a little far away from getting a modern seal exhibit like the one I'm going to try and build here. So yeah, that's why I decided to do a one-off exhibit build here. And it's in the same map as I did my red pandas and pygmy hippos. I just like having them all in one spot, so it kind of gives a bit of a backdrop. But it's not like a zoo series or anything. These are all just independent builds that are close to each other. Like I said, backdrop. But anyway, I just want to say off the bat, I'm doing a progress update format for the videos, kind of like how Masked Bandit or Ruble Trillions do their videos. Because I don't really enjoy making speed builds or watching them, so I decided to do this. So I'll start from the ground up, show you my kind of plan here, where we have the land area, water areas, and viewing paths and backstage, and then slowly build it up. And every now and again I'll show you my progress, so you can see how I made it, and eventually we'll end up with a finalized product we can see. And I might make this available on the workshop. Now there's a bit of a problem. I do like saving these one-off exhibits as blueprints for you guys to check out if you want, but this is going to have, the way I'm doing this is that a lot of the building and stuff will not be able to be saved as a habitat blueprint. Like for this pygmy hippo exhibit, yeah, I was able to get most of this in the blueprint, but this shade structure over here, because the fence wraps around it, most of this shade structure, pretty much all of it, was cut off from the blueprint, so it wasn't available there. And I won't be able to, this exhibit way too much will be lost if I save it as a habitat blueprint. I might be able to save it as a building blueprint and you have to do the terrain and fencing yourself, but I'm not too sure just yet. Actually, you can just check the comments or the description to see if there's a blueprint there. You know what? I'll put a piece of text up on screen now. Future me, was I able to save this as a blueprint? Yes or no? Cool. Thank you, future me. Yeah, so now you know if this is a blueprint or not. But either way, we're gonna get hopefully a cool seal exhibit out of this, and an entertaining video, I hope. So yeah, I'm gonna crack on with this exhibit, and I'll see you in the first progress update. Okay, so I had some work done here. So I've got the terrain all dug out and the pool made, and we've got some seals in. The first thing I want to say is that this land area seems a little way too big. I'm going to shrink it a bit and move the backstage forward here to fill the space up. And the pool, I know it seems massive now because I just have a big, deep, like 5-meter pool, and it has to be greater than 4 meters so that they actually dive, because yeah, this deep water thing, it has to be 100%, and then they'll start to dive in like 4-meter deep water. And I just have like a stop here to indicate that. But it's not all gonna remain so deep, because I'm gonna come in with plaster pieces and rocks to make some areas shallow. Like this area here, I want it to be really shallow, and then it gets more shallow as you come along. Yeah. So yeah, here you can see the kind of border I'm going for at this side where the water is. I'm using the fake rocks, and that's kind of damming the water, and we have a trench over here. So I actually probably could even raise these plaster pieces up to like, if it's like 2 meters down, it could be like 1.5 meters, because these seals wouldn't really be adept at climbing a wall like this. So yeah, this trench will kind of go all along the side here, and we'll have like a slope for them to climb back up in case they do fall. And he's wondering how I got the wall like this. Essentially I initially had a wall that was this height all around the water, and you just gotta kind of lower it so it matches the water level. But if it's matching the water level like right away, so I put water like that, and let's get the seal. Come on, guy. There it goes. As you can see now, the tank wall is too low. So yeah, what you initially want to do is have it high like this, pretty much all around. Get it? Then put the water in, and then what you want to do is lower the tank walls. And I believe it only works for curved walls for some reason. That's actually something I only found out now, because I've been doing this a while, but all the straight walls I put in, like the one over here, it doesn't want to work. But the curved walls, like if you do it, so if you have the wall curved like with this kind of piece, this will be able to sink it down the water, whereas this is a straight piece, and for some reason the game doesn't let you sink that or even raise it in the water. So maybe keep that in mind. Another thing I did over here is I tried to get an animal talk in the actual exhibit, which it actually works. The educator does talk here. I had to strand her on this little platform because I had a pathway going over the water, but they didn't want to come all the way over here. I'm not sure why, so this is the only way to do it. But unfortunately the guests don't seem to pay attention to the educator talk, so what I'm probably going to do is move the talk station over here, and I think I'll keep this little land platform because maybe we'll throw food on it. Let's actually see how that's. Actually, wait, let's see if I can cheese this, because it says it's no habitat for a little bit of time. This. Use some null forces. Make it look like the habitat comes all the way to the education point. Yeah, you can throw food, so hopefully the educator will start throwing food into there. I'm gonna have to test it out, but yeah, hopefully it will work. So yeah, I'm gonna crack on with building. Try to get this rock wall all the way around. I'm still not super confident with building with these faux rocks. It looks okay, but I need to refine my technique with these. So yeah, I'm gonna carry on with that, and then also get the pool nice and lined up. And I'll check in the next progress update. Okay, next progress update, and first I just want to make a bit of a correction. Earlier I said the sinking glass trick doesn't work with straight glass pieces. It does, it's just my game was being funny. So like earlier this piece was straight and didn't want to sink, but yeah, now the game's fine with it. So I don't know, the game's just being weird. I guess if you are having trouble with it curving, it might make it work better, but I don't really understand why this game is like this sometimes. But anyway, yeah, put a lot more rocks in, filled in our pool with a nice plaster bottom, and of course got some rocks up here. And like I said, it is not all of it is deep, so like this section here is very shallow. It's like, I don't know, 30 centimeters deep. So I really like this shallow section, and sometimes the seals will come and splash around in it. And then as you go along here, it gets more shallower, so I just use the plaster pieces to get shallower and shallower. And we have the trench fully done over here. So I'm not sure why these seals have probably the worst hitboxes of any of the animals in the game, because for some reason they can't navigate down here. When I was building this, they actually could, so it's not that big a deal because, well, it's the trench, you don't expect them to go in there. But just another trick I want to show you guys is that, yeah, I do have null barriers around here, and this kind of acts as the habitat perimeter. So if they could actually go in there, it won't say they escaped, and I'm still able to use the glass as part of the habitat perimeter. It's just, this isn't actually habitat perimeter, it's just one of these panels I've selected, yeah, this one, and I turn habitat perimeter off, so the game is like, okay, this isn't part of the habitat perimeter, instead I'm going to use this null fence. So when the seals go over this glass barrier, because they can come over here, it won't say they escape, because I have the null surrounding that. And anyway, yeah, just another trick if you are building the seals. Like I said, the hitboxes are ridiculous. Because if I come over here, we have two very small rocks, very low on the ground. And it's weird, it's just the rocks, because these rocks are lower then this little plaster ledge, but they can easily get over here, but not over these rocks. So these rocks are very these seals interact very weirdly with the rocks. So what you want to do is kind of make sure you have like gentle slopes like this to get in, and same thing by the water, you want to kind of slope the rock just ever so slightly, just so they can kind of access the water better and get in and out. And I've done that all along the side here, and also with these middle rocks, so they can actually come on here. So you can move this guy, come and sit on this rock, which I think is pretty cool. One thing I just want to mention is that this trench design is based on the Hagenbach Zoo in Germany. So in there they also had like a little moat design, and what happened there is that I'll throw a reference picture on screen now, and you'll see the seals were sitting on the wall. I'd have liked to have that here, but this wall gap is too narrow for the seals to actually sit on. Yeah, so that's just one of those things, because the hitboxes, again, very, I don't know, they need a very large area to actually navigate, or it's just the rocks that are funny with the seals. And just one more thing I want to mention is that if you're working with these faux rocks, which are great, I just want to say, if building with them, initially don't recolor them, just have it as these colors like this, and then afterwards go in and change the color to whatever you want it to be. Because yeah, I changed the color first and then built with that, and it's a bit annoying because say I wanted to come in here and build with this rock, then I would have to come in here, change the color to what I want it to be, place the rock, and then because these seals are so finicky with this rocks, I would always, pretty much after every second rock, when doing like all these fine rocks, I'd come and see how they interact with it, and I'd be like, cool, let's add another rock, and now we'll have to change the colors back again, and it's just a tedious process. So yeah, I'd recommend putting all the rocks in first, then recoloring it. It'll hopefully save you up on time. And this floor also I kept as a plaster floor, because the rocks, they are like, have this round pattern to them, so if you put them on top of each other, it's kind of hard to hide the borders between the rocks. So I figured it was a little bit easier to do with just plaster. Plus it also kind of makes sense, you know, you have this nice smooth surface that staff can easily clean, so just went with that. But anyway, yes, I am going to finish the backstage area and then also eventually get to these nice guest viewing areas. Okay, so I've done a bit of work around the path here. As you can see, I've added the path in, added this nice aquatic railing, and also put some eel grass down in the middle. I know I could have just used the terrain brush, but I kind of wanted to mess around with the eel grass, and also with this like narrow section over here, the terrain brush didn't work so well, so yeah, I'm justified in using the eel grass, because it really just looks like normal grass. I love it. But as you can see over here, I've started work on the guest viewing area. So the way I'm just going to get the other side in is just, I'm going to copy this building, just Control X and tilt it 45 degrees, because this barrier is exactly 45 degrees, and then place it in, and from there kind of modify it so they join up and it's a complete building. And for the roof, I've used these plaster pieces, and then I put these thin planks on them so it kind of looks a bit more textured. The reason why I use plaster piece and not the in-game roof piece is because when I'm going to combine the two sections, I'm going to need a way to merge the roof, and it's easy to do that with plaster pieces, and the in-game roof, you won't be able to do that because they don't come in like an angle that will allow you to do that. Also, another thing, in case you're wondering how I got the paths in here, an easy way is just you do the select from grid, and you can kind of select the grid on the building, and from there you raise the path, and boom, you get these full square paths. So this entire thing is covered in path now. But I have made a mistake. I haven't left enough room to place a path at the bottom here, so I'm gonna have to sink this this underwater viewing area down a little bit more so I can fit parts at the top and at the bottom. Yeah, I also need to add railings and just finish this entire structure. Oh, and just a tip, if you're using this kind of fence, you can replace this big concrete thing with another fence. You just click on it and whatever fence you want, it'll replace it, except for null. So yeah, I actually probably can replace this entire fence with just a regular glass. I just had it in here so I knew where the underwater viewing was going to be. Another thing I forgot to mention is I took away the education talk, because I initially had a little land area over here, but it wasn't looking so great, so I just removed that entirely. But when I did have that land area and the education keeper talk, or whatever you call it, the educator could actually throw food over this trench and it landed on the land. So if you have a trench in your exhibit and you want to educate a talk, the educator can throw it over the trench. Granted, the trench is small enough, yeah, not that wide, which this one is pretty wide and it could still throw food over. So yeah, it's actually a pretty cool feature with this educator talk. But anyway, I've also worked on some backstage. Done quite a bit of it, not fully complete. We'll see that in the next update. But yeah, just a few basics I want to mention that zoos you should try and have if like you want like a zoo with proper welfare. So is that seals, you're gonna need like one off-show pool just to kind of keep them here. So that's what we have here. So in case like this big pool is being drained or it gets contaminated, then you can keep the seals in here. So yeah, one zoo that I go to, they often drain their big pool. I think to like recycle the water, to replace the water, and when they do that, they have an offshore pool, kind of about this size, and the seals just chill in there for the time. And I have this door here, and it is actually wide enough. This door doesn't have to be so wide, but I made it super wide so that the seals can actually fit through. So if you click on one over here, yeah, he can actually fit through, although it doesn't really matter. They're not gonna, this is like backstage space, they're not supposed to use the space anyway, but I just wanted to make it functional. These other areas over here, these are like isolating areas, because in case one of the seals gets sick or the keepers want to train them separately, you can separate them in these kind of areas. And these are all outdoors. I didn't feel like building a full-on indoor facility, but you can. A lot of zoos do have proper like indoor places with their seals, and some places might even, these like isolating sections might even be bigger and have their own pools for the seal. Yeah, so this guy was feeling a bit ill, so we decided to quarantine him. And also have these like little platforms up here, so this is probably where the keepers will train the seals, because keepers do train seals. You heard training and you went onto the platform. Thank you for demonstrating. Yeah, another thing is I decided to go with these like little glass walls. Well, these probably aren't glass, but they're like plastic type transparent substance that looks like glass but is a bit more durable, a little less fragile. And I've seen a few places where seals, I'm not sure if they were aquariums or zoos, but you had seals and there was these like glass areas and it looked backstagey. I was like, oh, I kind of want to try that out. Also, I've never seen anyone do something like this with the glass, so yeah, I'm really like how this looks though. And of course, we have the night rooms sealed. Yeah, and then we have the inside staff area. So a whole bunch of backstage clutter and that. So if you want to make your backstages look good, you just got to add a whole bunch of clutter everywhere. So let me just show you some of the stuff like I put here. So like I said, we have the staff platform. I put these buckets in. Now this is a hose pipe by Ipsen. I'll have a whole bunch of workshop items that I use. I'll show you in a bit. Then this is a kind of like rubber mat. As you can see, I use like the plaster piece and then the ends of these, if I can get them, the ends of these fence posts, so it kind of looks like these little bead things on the rubber mat. So I have these all over the show. And of course, for something like a seal exhibit, drainage is very important, so I have drains everywhere so that the water can go out. We've got drains here, another rubber mat, more drains, and another hose pipe, because in exhibits like these you'd use hoses to just clean. So if the seals take a crap or maybe they're sick and they vomit, you can just easily clean that up with using the hose pipe. And yeah. And then another thing over here, I have these sliding doors. The seals can't actually fit through these. These are way too small, but the idea is there. Yeah, these rooms aren't functional. The seals can't fit through this door. They can't fit through that door. So these are kind of like implied backstage. But this one actually is functional. But let's actually move this guy to the big exhibit. The big backstage. And other stuff like these clipboards which we just added, which are great. Just have tables so keepers can prepare their food, and just have a bunch of random crates lying around. Got some bins. This is just a recolored African bead. More drainage on the floor. Another little detail I added is these are kind of footbaths. So I'm not actually too sure if this would you would use this with seals. I can't imagine you would, but with at bird parks and backstage there, I've seen this used a lot, where it's just a little container and in there's like just like a small layer of water, but it has like disinfectants in that. So what happens is keepers, before entering any facility, you'll dip your shoes into this kind of bath. Yeah, so that'll just like disinfect your shoes, and I think it will reduce the chance of birds getting infection or you bringing in any foreign particles. And I imagine you'd use that for the seal, so I put that here and there. So I think this is just made with these bracket pieces, and then I even put like a layer of glass so it looks like water. It has like a reflective surface. Yeah, and then these are little crates I made, so I imagine you'd move the seals in these. I think I saw a picture in a crate similar to this. And this is just made with these Australia beams. This is just a wood piece, and then these Planet Zoo vents. They kind of look like this little grid cage piece. Yeah, I'm happy with how those turn out. Then we have these HVACs, these like little ventilation things. These are also made by Ipsen. We have more hose pipes. I took Ibben's hoses apart, so yeah, it looks like someone sloppily put one on a rack and someone just left them on the floor. Here we have some sinks. This sink is designed by, I believe, Suicide Up, and this is a soap dispenser. I believe it was made by, I have the names here, by Moblong. Yeah, I took his design and just removed the name. Very simple, but it's effective. So yeah, that's the whole backstage. You're just gonna want to fill up with clutter and just that's kind of how you make them your backstage more accurate. And have stuff that staff would need, and then of course we have these shade structures, because it is important that the seals have shade in case they get too hot, which is something I'm missing in the outside area. I will have that. Yeah, and outside I also have one of these training platforms and buckets. This is probably where realistically keepers will be in the exhibit feeding the seals when doing talks, not like outside. And just in case you're wondering how I did this kind of door and windows, some of the parts I did use the actual like in-game plaster walls like this, but for here I used the smaller plaster pieces. So as you can see, I did that, and that allowed me to have a small gap in the wall where I can put the windows. And yeah, just to kind of show off all the blueprints. Like I said, this is Moblong's one. I used the soap dispenser, Suicide Up sink. These are Ipsen's hose and the HVAC. All the links for these workshop items will be in the description. Yeah, this is Mr. Domez's rooftop ventilation set. I've only actually used the small piece here to just put on top of the building, so it just breaks up the roof line a bit, but if you have much bigger buildings you can probably use these pieces quite well. And his bins, I also use some of them outside here. And this electrical system, I stole the sign from here and put it on this building, because this would probably be a building where you have all the filters and that inside. So yeah, I actually do have the in-game filter, which is broken down now, and the transformer, and I believe there's a what's this thing called? the temperature regulator, whoa, which is also broken. And the panel's kind of sticking out, so. And we have this big door going inside, just some random pipes going in there, so it looks like this is a place where the water is filtered and whatnot. And just another extra detail is that I just put these little drains on the roof, made out of the gutter pieces, so it actually looks like they're thinking about water, because the water will this will be like a slight angle, and the water will accumulate down here and flow out through these drains. Yeah, still gotta to tidy up this area, maybe put like some paths in so the staff can get here, and then put trees all around, because seal exhibits themselves don't need a lot of foliage, but it's gonna put some trees on the back line here for the final showcase, which we'll see in a little bit. Okay guys, so the seal exhibit is finally done. So let's just take one last walkthrough of the exhibit, so you can just see everything I've done all in its final glory. So I really like this. I like when the seals walk through on the shallow water, that's cool. But yeah, I let the guests in, so we have a bit more of a zoo atmosphere in here, and also wanted to see how they react. And of course I put a whole tree line in here, so it feels a bit more complete, like an actual zoo. It's not just a seal exhibit someone built in a field. So we've got like I said, I put up some shade structures there. As you can see, I also put like a little hose and sprinkler for them to chill in. And there's another shade structure up there. Like I said, it's important that you have to give the seals some shade so that they don't boil alive on hot days. Let's change the lighting so we've got a bit more light here. So yeah, the underwater viewing structure is finished. Got a little statue here to signify this is a seal exhibit. And we've got one of the seals there. And let's go and check it on the inside. So yeah, got some generic Planet Zoo billboards there. Just some custom benches. I couldn't actually fit in-game benches here, so the guests can't actually use those, I'm afraid. And the feet are slightly sunken into the ground. That's just because the path is slightly lower to the floor. Couldn't do much about that. And now we can come down here to see the underwater viewing of here. And oh, just one thing I forgot to mention. I do have a little platform up here where the seals can come up to. They don't really come up here, but I like the idea that the seals can walk up here and you can get like an eye-to-eye view with the seals. And what I really like about this platform is that you might be able to see them when you're walking this way to the underwater viewing, and as you're walking into the underwater viewing area, if you look up you might just be able to see a seal. Although I think the in-game seal hitboxes are so big that they probably wouldn't be this close, but real life you might just have a seal just like looking down on you as you're walking past, which I think is cool. Yeah, let's check the underwater viewing area. Maybe we can see some seals. Oh, one just got out. Yeah, as you can see, this is the deep part of the pool. Got some vents, got some bubbles coming out of them. It's a thing I've seen a few people do. There we go, there's one coming in. I can see them in the back. But they are capable of deep diving, which is very cool. Let's see what this guy's gonna do. He's just chilling. Are they gonna swim? Yeah, he's diving, I think. Oh yeah, we'll just leave him be. Let's go see the rest of it. Oh yeah, first of all I just want to show that I have implemented lighting. So we got some lights in the walls here. Oh geez, you can't see. Okay, there it goes. Although it's not so important that you have lighting at the guest area, I imagine the seals will be taken inside at night, but I just thought put some lights up, because why not? But what's really important to have lighting is, that I didn't have last at the time, is in the staff area. Because yeah, guests won't always be, like you won't really generally have guests in the zoo at night, but the staff, they might have to be at the zoo at night time. So it's important they have lighting in your backstage areas. We just got some floodlights out here. Got some more here. And these lights I already had in the last update, you've probably seen. Same thing with the inside here. got some lights. And just by the way, in case you didn't know, this is the Angry Archer by Mr. Gomez. You've probably seen a few other builders use this. This is scaled to the same size as a in-game person, so you just put these around and you know, you make sure you're building stuff in scale to like an actual person size. You're not over making something over. So anyway, yeah, let's go back to daytime and just see that I've put some pavement down for the staff to walk on, and over here underneath this plaster there is a staff path. I've just hidden it so that because the staff paths are ugly, and now it just kind of looks like there's a continuous tar pathway, but the guests won't be able to go in here because there's a staff path blocking it, and a staff furnace. Yeah. Let's go actually check the inside of this exhibit. Oh, why are you boxed up? Oh, because the vet's stinky. You're getting a checkup. Oh, this is cool. I've never seen them here before. They're chilling outside here by the trench. For some reason, the keeper put the fish all the way over here. And over here. Weird choice, but I like it. And I'm getting stuck on the rock. Wait a minute. Like I said, I modified Ipsen's hose pipe, so it comes along here and attaches to a sprinkler. And it cools off the seals a little bit. We got their platform with the keepers, train them and that. And yeah, pretty much all the seal exhibit. Let's see if we can check underwater if I can get unstuck from these rocks. Okay. What is with the rocks in this game? See why the seals have trouble traversing them. Yeah, we can just have the underwater view over here. You can see a seal doing a twirl. And they have some rocks in the middle they can navigate around. Or bar squat, like this guy's doing. So yeah, let's hop out of Tedget Can. Get a nice overview of the seal exhibit. Yeah, that's a seal exhibit done. Like I said earlier, the blueprint is actually available. What I did to get the blueprint though is I put a null barrier around the entire exhibit, all the buildings and that, so all the terrain and that will be done. You just gotta place it down, and then you have the fun job of coming in with you must come in with the glass barriers and all that, so you can put them in the way I showed earlier, and also the pathway, which might be a little bit tricky, but all the training at least is done. If you want to come put this in your own zoo or just see what I did to some of the parts, break things apart, see how I made them. Yeah, that's it for this episode, this one-off exhibit world. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in whatever next I make in Planet Zoo. Bye!